Hello everyone. So I wanted to do a video for you on home parties or try before you buy nights or lash bashes, whatever you want to call them. So the idea is that you take the products into a hostess's home and then she gets her friends round and try the products. So I want to talk you through why to do that and then exactly how to do that. What I super love about Younique is this certainly isn't a compulsory part of what you do. This is a added thing that if you want to do it, then will really help you take your business to the next level. So first of all, why to do it is it really helps get the products out there. There is only so much faith that people have over Facebook. When they actually touch that splurge, when they actually put that mascara on their eyes, then their whole love and belief for the product totally changes. So you have in a room 6 women and they all fall in love with Younique as a brand. So, you know, they become part of a strong, stable customer base for you. And then, of course, they go and tell their friends as well. So it extends from there. Sorry, itchy nose. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that it opens your avenues up to different people. So at the moment, you've got your friend Jane on Facebook, and you would have to add Jane's friends to be able to get access to them, or push Jane to put like a status on. Whereas if you get Jane to just host something really relaxed, you know, it doesn't have to be a party with wine necessarily, although, you know, who's going to moan if there's a glass of vino there? But you know what I mean. It can be in the daytime. Children can be there. Husbands can be there. You know, it's not a formal party, and you know, like for example, Ann Summers parties. It doesn't have to be anything like that. You know, it can be even in a really itchy nose. It can even be in like a coffee shop or whatever. So. You know, you get Jane to do something and then you meet those 6 friends in that environment, and then they become part of your virtual audience because then you add them to your friends list. So it's just such a brilliant way of building your business. Also, I have yet to do, I'm just trying to count it up in my head, I've only had 2, I call them try before you buy nights. I've only had 2 try before you buy nights that have been under £250. The rest, no, sorry, I've had 2 that have been £250. The rest, none of them have been under 400. So the sales from them are just incredible. The last one that I did was £1,000. It blows my mind. So yeah, really good for business. Now, obviously, just want to talk you through exactly how to run them. Before I've got notes so that I don't ramble too much. So if you see me looking down, you know, and if there's a slight pause, it's just me gathering my thoughts on that thing so that I can say it in a clear way for you. So the other thing that I wanted to cover, so here we go, I've already forgotten what I was rambling on about, was, kit, yeah. So my first ever party that I ever did, all I had was my presenter's kit, which we had a lot less products in there because they gave us like some real key expensive products rather than like a couple of the pigments and things. So literally all I had was my presenter's kit, a couple of extra pigment colours, 1 foundation and 1 blusher. And I went and did my first party and it was £650. I do have every product now that we sell, but I sometimes think that maybe I have too much, you know, like, you know, when somebody's, faced with all that choice and then they just don't know what to buy. So don't think I've only got my presenter's kit, I can't do any of these things. You really can, and you probably maybe even be at an advantage. Also, if you're brand new, this is such a good way to launch your business, is to just get your friends on board by them seeing how good this stuff is. So, you know, anyway, the other thing as well about me saying that I have every product, I have not paid full price or paid for even the majority of those products. So every time I do an order, it's always over £166 because I refuse to pay the shipping. So I always make sure that I group everything together. And if I'm a little bit short, you know, I just throw on a few extra mascaras, you know, and then because they sell by the time the order comes. And then I earn £16 at least in Ycash and one half price item by doing that through a party link. On the whole, my orders are bigger than that. So I have managed to get my entire kit, every single product, for no real cost, or using my half offs. So, you know, selling and pushing that will really help you build the kit that you want as well. And obviously then you've got an amazing makeup collection for yourself. Okay, on to my actual party. So if somebody wants to book a try before you buy night, then something I encourage them to do first of all is set up an event on Facebook. What that means, like, so that they can invite everybody, but what that also means for me is that I can encourage people to bring cash or PayPal or bank transfer or check. But also, I can say about card payments. Now, I have an app called Smart Trade, which is free, and I can take card payments there and then. There is a charge for using a card. So if you want to swallow that charge, which I do, you know, because I earn 30% on everything that I sell as opposed to 25% because I'm above green status presenter. So yeah, I swallow that charge. But if you didn't want to swallow that charge and you wanted to let the customer know it's extra for paying by card, then that's the perfect place in an event to just let people aware. I also do like a fun little free prize draw, only for some chocolate, like a little bit of chocolate, for everybody who's on time. That just means that it makes it all run smoothly, you know, and I'm there in and out, you know, quicker. You can also have a bit of fun, you know, do some of the fun quizzes, you know, maybe even post a video before people come, because then they warm to you, and then you walk into that room and it's like, you know, being with friends, and you'll be so much more relaxed. So that's my first encouragement. When I set up, I bought myself a purple tablecloth from the range, and if there's no table that I've got access to, then I use that in front of the TV on the floor, and I just put the products on top. Just kind of puts it in a section and makes it look nice. What I take with me is I have got, I should have got it out, shouldn't I? Sorry. I've got folders, you know, like the popper folders. So in there, I put the order form, pen. I also put some tissues. So at Home Bargains, they do like these really cute little packs of tissues for 12p. So I just pop those in there. A lollipop keeps them quiet. It's just, yeah, really recommend that. And our catalogue. And let's be honest, our catalogues are not cheap, are they? Because we are mostly an online company. So by putting it in this folder, it really encourages them to give that back to me, as opposed to keeping that catalogue. And the tissues are because of the demoing, which I'm going to tell you about in a second, not because they're going to cry or anything. And I also pop in there a free prize draw slip. So on that free prize draw slip, it's in the Dropbox account. It asks them about being interested in booking a party, about joining, about an online party. And I encourage them to fill that in when we have a little break. And then I do a free draw at the end of the night. Now, because I've got Ycash and half offs all the time, on the whole, I use a Younique product. But if you're just starting out and that's something that you can't afford, then it can just be for some chocolates, you know, just something you can add on to your weekly shop. It's a freebie at the end of the day. It's, you know, it doesn't have to break the bank or anything like that. But what those free prize draw slips are really good for is collecting data. Because what it means is if I've got 10 women in that room, it doesn't matter whether they order or not, I've got their details because they're on that free prize draw slip. So I hope that makes sense. So that's my prep that I take with me, and then I hand out the folders to everybody. I also carry cotton buds, so I bought a really pretty jar from the range, and I put cotton buds in there. That just adds to my display. So when my kit was smaller, it just made it look, and I did the same with cotton wool as well. So, and I also had little purple candles, so you can do stuff like that as well, just to make it look really pretty if you want to. You can carry paper plates. This is for, I'm going to talk to you about demoing in a second, but this is for if people want to like try the products on them, but maybe they don't want to do it on their skin, then they can try it on a paper plate so that they can see the colours and stuff. Hardly anyone ever does that, but it's just something extra. And disposable wands, I don't carry them. If they want to try my mascara, then it's up to them. I'm not into all this eye germ stuff. I just let them try it. I would still use it. I'm sure there's the odd person that perhaps hasn't tried it, because I don't have disposable ones. But I got to say that 90% of the people when I go to parties just try anything as it is. They don't really think about it. They're not worried about it. And if there is somebody in the room that's not comfortable to, then they can see the results on people that they know anyway. So that's my personal preference, especially as we've got the 3D Plus mascara now with the coned wand. That's very hard to get the same effect with a disposable wand. So I also take that with me. I've got some photos in frames. So I've printed off my daddy because he did the serum for me for 5 days, the uplift. So I've printed off a picture of him, the before and after. I've also got a before and after of our face wash, like what it does with acne. I've got a before and after of BB cream. Things that perhaps you can, like that face wash, until somebody uses it for a while, they really don't see the results. So I used free prints, so it didn't cost me anything to get them printed, and then just had cheap frames again from the range. And again, that adds to only about 6x4s, and that then adds to my display as well. Now in Ann Summers, when I did Ann Summers, we had something called a presenter, and it was like a flip board thing. And it went through that month's offer for the hostess, like what she got, what you could get for booking a party, what you could get for joining, how to fill in the order form. And I've got to say, I was at Ann Summers for 8 years, and I used that every single party. Even girls that I'd seen 100 times, I used to say to them, girls, I've got to talk through this because otherwise I'll forget something. So I've now got like a whiteboard that I jot those things down on, and I just say I just need to talk about these things before I forget. And it's again from the range. I think it's in a beautiful black frame, this whiteboard, and then I can write at the top like Sonia's lash bash, and then the pointers, so that they feel that those pointers are personal to them as well. So something like that. And then that allows me to talk about, if they want to book their own makeup party, what they're going to get. We've always got a monthly kudos, which is not in our catalogue. So that reminds me to tell them what the offer of the month is. It reminds me to tell them about their draw slips, how to pay, why to do our job. So if I don't have that, then I forget to talk about that. And I also, if I try and talk about it, then ramble on and do it in a boring way. So I just find that really, really helps me. And I don't use this very often, but I take with me a makeup bag game, and this is the only game that I carry. It's rare I play a game. I just find that the event warms them up, and then when I get in there, they're just gagging to see the stuff, really. But if you feel like you do want a bit of a game, even in the middle, maybe like after they come back from the break or something, having said that, I rarely have a break either, because the parties do run nice and quickly. So I've got one of my old makeup bags, and I've got my old products that I used to use in there. So I've got a mascara, I've got an old lip gloss, I've got an old eyeliner in there, an old blusher, a 4 eyeshadow compact, my old foundation, an old moisturizer, I think. Yeah, so put that together, and then what I do is I just take them out, and then they have to guess what the expiry date of those products are, as in like how long they last. So for example, you know, once a mascara is opened, then it lasts no longer than 6 months according to the experts. So and it's like it's got an open like symbol on them, like a pot with an open lid, and that tells you like how many months that product should last. So I get them to guess what the month is, the months that those will last for, and then they have to add it up in their head, and then, or on a bit of paper, and then give me how old my makeup bag is at the end of it. And what that really does is it's a bit of fun. We have a bit of a laugh with it, but also it makes them realise how out of date their products are. So then what that means is they start the party not feeling guilty about buying new makeup products because they realise that they need an upgrade. So that's the kind of prep and initial, just checking I haven't missed anything, and initial ways that I set up my parties. Yeah, okay. Now, what I do then, so step by step, what I do at my parties is I take them through a makeup routine. So I start them off, first thing I start them off with is primer. And then what we do is we put our foundation on, then we do our eye makeup, then we do our lips and everything. And then what I do, because I get them to use their hands to test these products on, at the end of it, I go through our skincare stuff and they then get to wash it all off. Now, you might not have all of these products, but I want to cover all of them because you all have different ones. It doesn't matter if any of this you don't have. It doesn't mean that you can't go ahead and run an amazing party. Remember that my first party, I did not have all of this at all, okay? I only had those small bits that I said at the start of this video. But I'm going to go through how I showcase all of the products. So the first thing I start with is primer. So our primer, what a primer does is it fills in all the little pores on your face, and it creates a smooth canvas for makeup to go onto. So when you see celebrities looking so flawless, not on photos because they're airbrushed, but on TV, it really is down to a really good primer, because then any makeup sits on top and really just does its job. Whereas if you put a foundation directly onto the skin, eventually over time it sinks in, and that's why you get patches and all things like that. So I really encourage every woman, if they don't want any other product from me, they are super happy with their makeup range, I encourage them to purchase our primer, because our primer will make the best of whatever makeup they are using. So our primer, you only need the smallest amount, and that's what it does. It also sweat proofs and waterproofs your makeup, and it gives it a much longer wear. So it's just so good. So I get them to put a little bit, I tell them all that, and then I get them to put a little bit on the back of their hand, and then on top of that I send around one of our pigments just to show them. So then I send around a brush with one of our pigments and a shimmer pigment, and they then put, like Regal's quite good for this, they then put a bit on their hand where they've got no primer. Sorry, I'm like doing it and then not showing you. So they put a bit on their hand where they've got no primer, and then they put a bit of Regal on top of where the primer is, and of course where the primer is makes it really stand out, so really brings it to life, so they can just see how good it is for their makeup. The primer also, just so you know, is amazing for hair. So if you think Moroccan oil and all that gives you that super sleek, honestly, I've had so many people tell me that the primer is the best thing ever for their hair to make it super sleek and shiny and stuff. So I personally have crazy hair, so it's not something I ever do myself. So I show them that primer, and that's fun. It's really It's really interactive, you know, that really sets it off nice because they're all having, you know, seeing it on their hands and everything. I then talk to them about Uplift serum, and I send the photo around of my dad, and I send around the bottle for them. If they want to try it, they can, so that they can see how little that they need for both eyes. They can feel it, you know, and the goodness that it does. So that's like a small section. I then go on to our foundations. So I explain to them about the different coverage levels, starting with our powder, then our BB cream, and then our cream foundation. And the fact that they've all got anti-caking agents in, they're all natural based. You know, they'll cover tattoos, the coverage is so good. So I'm talking through all of this as I'm showing them, and then I send them round. If as I'm talking about this, you're thinking, but I don't know all this about the products, then that's where YouTube's really useful, because there are so many tutorials, so you can brush up on your product knowledge really easy on top of this video. It goes without saying, I use all Younique brushes. So rather than me talk through the brushes, each section, I just use a Younique brush. So on the pigment, with the primer, that's the deluxe brush that goes round that they get to see. And then I send round our blending buds and our foundation brush for the BB and the cream foundation. So, so I send that round and they can try that. You'll often find that someone will want to start putting it on their face to see coverage and things. That's amazing. I really encourage that. I carry like 3 or 4 mirrors. I seem to never be able to have enough mirrors for people wanting to try stuff. So that's another thing. Stock up on some of those like cheap plastic mirrors. I had some nice ones, but honestly, some cheap plastic ones from Pound Shop are good. If any of you have got any Body Shop friends, they used to be able to get the Body Shop mirrors with which were like 60p, I think, and you could take the flap bit off that says Body Shop and just use the mirror. They're a nice mirror. Anyway, I then send round our bronzers and blushes. I don't really talk about them. I just say, you know, our bronzer is being compared to Benefit's Hoola, which I've never used, but I have so many customers that have come across from that. It's half shimmer. The Sunset one is super natural, you know, so if they're a little bit worried or they're a bit bronzer heavy, the Sunset's a really good one to go for a real natural look. They can use it on the eyes as well. Same with the blushes. They're super pigmented, natural, that kind of thing. So I just send them round for them to have a look at. Next thing I do then is go on to the pigments. So they've already seen one pigment because of the primer, but then I just let them know about all the things you can do with the pigments. So you can put them in your hair as hair chalks, you can put them into nail varnishes, and you only need a tiny spoon into a clear nail varnish and make your own nail varnish colour. And something that I've just done recently is I've been stocking up on clear nail varnishes, and then when I get to this point at the party, I asked the hostess what her favourite colour is of our pigments, get her to look in the catalogue, that she would wear on her nails, and then I make her a nail varnish there and then that she can have as a little thank you gift. So that's quite cool, and they get to see that. What else can we do with our pigments? You can use them on the lips. Like, I love like Heartbroken on the lips. It's really cute. You can, try to think off the top of my head now, like use them for liners, face paints, pretty much anything. So I talk them through that. I then send round, this really varies. If it's a small party, I sometimes send round all the colours and just let them, you know, I'll send so many that way, and I'll just let them have a real play, put them all on their hands. Sometimes if it's a bigger party, that could take too long. So then I just put a look together. So I say, right, girls, what sort of look would you like? You know, are any of you into a smoky eye, which is really popular? Do you want a grey smoky eye, a brown smoky eye? I then put the colours together and send them round and encourage them to put them on their hands so they can see. But what I do is I spray the brush now with rose water, just a squirt, and then I send it round so that they can see the pigments wet as well, because they super come to life as well when they're wet. So that's another aspect of it. Then I send around the splurge, show them how bouncy it is, 12-hour wear, crease proof. They all love the splurge. We get, you know, because of the shimmer and things, so we have fun with the splurge. Although, a little tip, I used to send around the splurge with the brush, and yeah, they can sometimes don't realise you only need a tiny bit, so they literally were like going, meh, my splurge, and then I was going, oh. So now I sometimes put I put on a cotton bud each for them, so that they've just got their own, or I go round with the splurge and, you know, draw on their hands. Then I do liners. So then I talk about how our liners are no smudging, no budging. So what I do is I put a line on my hand, on my arm of our black eyeliner, and then I have an Avon liner that I used to use, other brands are available, that I put next to it. And I say to them, we're going to come back to this in a minute, and I send around both, so they also have the Avon one as well. And then I get them to use all our other colours so that they can see, because like our silver and our gold are beautiful in our liners, and you know, you can just use them all around the eye rather than any makeup. So yeah, they're really lovely. Once they've drawn like a barcode of all the colours, we then go back and we try and smudge them. And of course, ours don't smudge, and the Avon one comes straight off. So I do that. Then I send around the lip liners, and they do the same. And at this point, I tend to go with no stuff on my lips. So at this point, I would put one of the colours on my lips. Perky's quite good because it's nice and bright, and show them, because it's so creamy, how they can have it all over their lip. It's not just a liner. Or I tell you what, Pouty's a really good one as well, because most people love a neutral. So that's most appealing probably is Pouty. But most that stands out is Perky. Then I do lip gloss. I show them, again, I put this on then on top, but I show them how, so Luxe is a really good one because it's neutral, how they're really pigmented, but you can build them. So if you just put a light layer of our gloss, it just gives a tint of colour. If you put 2 layers on, then you get the full effect of that colour. Lip stains I do on my arm because they don't come off. So you know, I say to them, if you don't mind this product really not budging, then feel free to draw on your own, but I'll show you the colours. So I do a swatch on my arm for them so they can see those, and that's it really. For the makeup, now of course, now if you think about it, we've got Regal, primers, pigments, liners. So now what I do is I've got 2 plastic containers that I take with me, and I get the hostess to put some hot water in there at the start of the party. And then what I do is I hand them all a damp cotton wool, and they then go over where they want to wash. And then I send around our washes, so I do it 2 ways around the room, so it's quicker. They then put our wash on, and then I send around another damp cotton wool, and they then take that off. I'm then talking to them about why our cleansers are so good. Because they're so natural. They're so natural, you can wash your entire face and open your eyes and see, because there's no chemicals involved. You can use them in the shower. You don't need a separate face routine. Takes all your makeup off, close your pores. But what I love about our cleansers, which you wouldn't necessarily know, is that they have the most beautiful arm compared with the other side. Instantly, you can see like an anti-aging, healthy effect of the cleanser, especially on the back of the hand. So if they compare their 2 sides of their hands, they can really see the difference by using our cleanser. So I get them to look at that and encourage that. I then get them to use rose water and tell them, ladies, honestly, I couldn't go through it in this video because you'll just get bored. In fact, I don't go through it at my parties. I only go through a few of them, but I have got a list that I send round at my parties. You can use rose water for so many things. It is a miracle product. It gives you shiny hair. You use it as a toner. You can set your makeup with it. Use it to make the pigments wet. You can take makeup off with it. You can shave, like use it for shaving rash. Sunburn, I have never used a wonder product like rose water for sunburn. Instant relief. When someone said this, I was like, okay, yeah, sort of, it's all right. No, it's not. It's a miracle. So yeah, sunburn. So yeah, I get them to try the rose water. And then I finish off with the Divine moisturizer. And so then they have this really lovely, like, happy arm. It's, you know, it's all soft, and I finish with that because that's the last thing they probably were expecting to buy, is skincare. So that's just fresh in their mind then. The other stuff they've probably already kind of fallen in love with as a, you know, as somebody who wears makeup. And of course I haven't mentioned, and this is on purpose, the mascara. So I do all of that and then go, and if someone mentions it halfway through the party, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that in a minute. So then I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to do the best product that we do, our mascara. I often go with just one eye done, so then I can show them instantly. So I'm like, look girls, and then what I do in front of them is I do my other eye so that they can see how it goes on. The reason I leave the mascara right until the end is because I would say 99.9% of the time that's the reason they're at the party. They've seen the mascara, they want to make sure it's the real deal, and that it does what all the photos show, and they're ready to purchase it. So if I show them that right at the start, they switch off for all the rest because they've got it in their head that's what they want. So my aim is to make them fall in love with everything else, and then the mascara is probably already a given for their order form anyway. So then I show the mascara. Makeup tips. So sometimes I put little makeup tips throughout. These aren't things I knew. These are things I've learned on corporate's Instagram account. They put great tips up there. Things I've picked up on YouTube. I read more makeup articles now. So, you know, there's just things that you can enhance your whole business with by being interested sort of in the makeup industry. What else have I got on here? I think, yeah, that's it. So that's how my parties run. That's how I show off the products and what I do with them. Then I just leave them to order, and like I said, I've had nothing but, apart from 2 parties, they've all been over £400. That, you know, they've just been amazing. Just a couple of final tips for you. You may want to do a raffle. It's not something I choose to do personally, because I'm just too busy talking. But something that's really simple and nice to do is the girls just, you know, take yourself a little pretty pot or something, and the girls just chuck in whatever they agree. So, you know, £2, £3, whatever. Pick a winner, maybe from the free prize draw slip. So do one for the free prize draw and then do one for the kitty, and then someone gets to spend that on Younique products. That means that you get an extra order, that you get commission on that. What I would do is I would let them know that that needs to be above and beyond a normal order. So you'll do that right at the end when all the orders are in, if you want to do that. A booking offer. So I don't do a booking offer, but I do know some girls that take nicely wrapped wine or something, you know, and they take a couple and they're just like, oh, this is just for my first couple of ladies that book tonight. So I haven't felt like I've needed to do any of that. They just tend to have a natural life. But it is really good to encourage other ladies to book, because then you meet brand new ladies from that as well. And then when I order it all, I don't set up a party in that hostess's name. I do a party in my own name. So let's say I've done Sonia's party. So I then go on Facebook, I create a party, I call it Sonia's party, but it's in my name. I then go and put all the orders on. And I do it this way because... So what I did prior to this, sorry, just to backtrack a little bit, is I had some Y-Cash and some half price offs because I'd sold a lot on Facebook. And when I went and did my first party, I did it the other way, where I did it in the person's name. But that meant that hostess had to pay shipping because she got so much free stuff, where all her friends, because I bulked it all together, didn't have to pay shipping. So the second time that I went and did a party, I did it all under my name, and I just used my own Ycash and my own half offs that I had for that hostess's order. But when I then put that order through, because I did it in one big order and I did it on a party in my own name, I remade that commission on Ycash and half price offs for the next party. I hope that made sense. If that confused you, please don't worry. Just like pretend I've never said those words, and then ask myself or ask one of your uplines and they'll explain that to you. But that's what I recommend doing. Some people do it, some people create party links for hostesses, because the hostess then can take a year to spend her commission if she likes. But I just don't offer that. They just make their order that night because they fall in love with loads of products, and I get it all in one big box, done, dusted. And, you know, I get all the Ycash and the half offs from it all in one go, and then I use that to award the next hostess, and it works like that. Hope that made sense. I hope that that's really helped with how to do some things. You might do things differently. I know we've got some real superstars doing this on the team, and so you might, you know, if you've got any great ideas, please just, you know, let me know, or add it to the comments or whatever. But that's just the way I run things, and things that I found have really worked. So hope that was useful. Any questions, please pop it in the comments so that you know, I can get back to you on that. Mwah.